Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Miss Allison Denise. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Soul Sunday, weekly edition with me and my sister Ruby. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm just waiting for her to sign on so that we can invite her and get started. I hope everybody has had a great week so far. Thank you so much for taking the time to join in with us. Ruby, I see you. Give me 1 second. What's up, Dr. Irving? I see you, sir. Good to see you. What's up, Alonzo? Um, I just okay, let me do it this way. Um, approve quick. What's up, Tate? Good to see you. Okay, we're waiting for Ruby. It says that she is being added. Let's see. Oh, hurry up. There she is. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
How you doing?
Girl, I'm fine. I had to let Sheba out
I
because
am
Sheba
loving
was like,
Sheba. Yes, I miss Sheba.
but thank you so much for hosting again tonight and
Anything for
welcome
you?
everyone to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison.
Yes.
And of course, tonight we will be doing a live Q&A session focused on love and relationships. So, in the midst of us discussing our upcoming masterclass, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we will answer your questions here on Facebook Live. If you
Yes.
don't want a real answer to your question, don't put that question down there. I'm telling
But
you.
it's just the truth. It's just the truth. What's up, Mark? I see you on. Thank you, sir. That is the truth.
Yes, and hey, Tay. But I will say this: if a lot of y'all get to putting questions down there, we will get to what we can get
Yes.
to.
Yes.
But if we can't get them all, then I'm sorry. We'll try to do a little bit of scrolling
Right.
back, but hey, we're gonna do what we can. But again, yes, Tate, we even gonna answer your question.
Make them legitimate, Tate. Please. Please make them legitimate.
Exactly. Thank you. But again, welcome everybody to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. I am Ruby D, the goddess entrepreneur, soul speaker, your energy therapist, and author of the Goddess Grind book series focused on you becoming the best version of you mentally, emotionally, and energetically in order to manifest success personally as well as professionally. And yeah, I do a lot of stuff. Currently, I am helping others to learn about the chakras in depth, how to balance them, and how to heal financially, personally, and relationships, sexually, pretty much in every aspect. It could be general, or if it's personal to you, Mark, hey, put it down there. We're
Yep.
here. And we're just going to ignore that first question. Look, neither for me. I'm just going to say that. Allison, you could go ahead and introduce yourself because Tate on that stuff.
Already.
He on
Oh
that
my
research.
Lord. Really, Tate?
Yes.
Oh my God. Peace and blessings, everybody. I am Miss Allison Denise, the Petite Powerhouse. I'm a relationship coach, personal finance coach, and overall, I just want to see people have the best relationships possible, starting with the one that you have with yourself and then branching out with others. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You know how this goes. We appreciate you going ahead and putting your questions, your comments. We want all of it. If you do think that we're going to say something that will help others, please feel free to take this time now to go ahead and share the video to your pages and any of the groups that you may be in so that we can go ahead and catch people live. And we do want to send a shout out to the replay audience. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to circle back around and check us out after this live broadcast. I'm ready, ma'am. I am ready.
Yeah. So we've already answered Tate's first question, but real quick, what I do specifically when it comes to relationships, because I'm an energy therapist, I talk to individuals in relation to energetic disconnects that may happen between them and their mate. And it's important to be aware of these disconnects because usually the energetic disconnect happens before the actual emotional, mental, and
Mm-hmm.
physical disconnect takes
Mm-hmm.
place. Because you can be somewhere and you feel that the energy is off. I mean, you can even feel that when you go to a place and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable being
Right.
here. You know right then something isn't right. So you can feel when something is off in your relationship, and it's okay once you get to the point where you can identify where something has shifted, the energy has shifted, or it's off, then it's like, okay, where is that coming from? It may not be sexually related. It could be, something as simple as um a shift in your daily
Mm-hmm.
routine. But you never know, especially if you have no idea that you all have this energy disconnect. But I help you identify what that disconnect is, why it exists, and then let you both know where you both are falling short and what you both need to
Mm-hmm.
do in order to reconnect energetically in order to continue to move the relationship
Yes.
further. So that's what I do. And Allison, go ahead and let everybody know what you do
Yes,
specifically.
ma'am. So I am on the emotional and practical side. So uh, my sister Ruby has your energy. I've got your practical and your emotional. So one person referred to me. I don't think I'm going to keep this particular title, but he referred to me as a relationship whisperer. For anybody who used to watch The Dog Whisperer, you know that guy just had some kind of way of talking to animals that just I've never seen it before personally, but I have been, I've had a gentleman call me the relationship whisperer. I have the ability to understand why certain things are going on in a relationship that are not beneficial or productive. I have this way of explaining to my brothers what my sister is trying to say that he may not necessarily be understanding, as well as vice versa. More importantly, I bring you positive energy. A lot of times, the biggest mistake that we make in relationships is talking to bitter people, whether they're in a relationship or not. We try to qualify where we get our information from. Well, if I'm in a relationship, I need to talk to someone who's in a relationship. If I'm single, I should just be talking to someone who's single. That is not always true. Certain cases, it may be beneficial to do that. But overall, if you're talking about love, you just want to talk to a loving person who is still walking in love and not bitterness or hate or greed or whatever. And so I'm able to go ahead and start showing people, because I am pro love, I'm pro relationship, I'm pro partnership. And I'm able to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
let you guys know, hey, when you do that, are you aware that he does A, B, C, D? Hey, when she does that, are you aware that he does C, D, E, F? And my goal is to always, if I pick up energetically that you guys are a good fit, my goal is to always work it out so that you walk away closer and not so far
Right.
apart. Now, if I energetically see that there's not a good fit, you got to be ready, because I tell you that too. Not because I don't like you, not because I don't like your boo, but because I believe both of you may be better suited with other people. And if that's not something you want to hear or follow, that's totally understandable. But I do always plant that seed so that if things do go in the wrong direction, you at least have that conversation to go back to. So that's what I focus on, in addition to when you're single. If you're single because the relationship ended and you're really, really hurt, I got you. If you're single because you had to end it even though you didn't want to, I got you. If you've been single several years and you're sick of waiting and you're starting to wonder if something's going on, I got you. So we talk about all of it in totality, from dating to marriage.
Thank
Well,
you, ma'am, for that. So that lets you know. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. But basically, between the two of us, you get a large, um, like the wireless company said, we have a lot of coverage when it comes to relationships. Um, Mentally, emotionally, and
yes.
energetically. And I also want to add that because I'm an energy therapist and I specialize in the chakra
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I do focus on the sacral chakra, which is focused on relationships, intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
sex between couples or
Mm-hmm.
individuals. So we got you covered there
Yes.
too. Trust me, you really want to get into that. But Tate has a legitimate
Yes.
question. He says, how important is it to support your mate's goals? It's very important. But let me go ahead and put this out there. If you are not supporting your mate's goal, if you're not going to support the goals of your mate, it's okay to not support them if you've effectively communicated that to them. Support doesn't always have to be in the form of you sharing their posts, you giving them money, or anything like that. It could be something just as small as, babe, you're doing a good job, keep up the good work, whatever the case may be. You can support that way. But if they're out there doing something that you're totally not with, and you don't vibe that way, you have to let them know so they don't have this expectation of you and then feel some type of way when they like, why he don't help me, why she don't support me, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. Because trust me, boo, if you out here doing something illegal, um I might not be able to help
Okay.
you because that's not what I
Right.
do. Trust me, I'm gonna tell you that before we get to, a certain
Mm-hmm.
point. You gonna know. Allison?
I think just to piggyback off what Ruby is saying, one of the best ways to, and let me look at your question so I can make sure I say it the way that you asked. How important is it to support your mate's goals? It is 100,000% important. It is important to support your mate's goals. Now, how that looks though is going to be based off of your individual relationship. So what I mean by that is, and I'll just throw up somebody that just popped into my head just now. Actually, I can't. I think they're getting a divorce. Never mind. um, I'm glad I thought about that before I said their name. How it's going to look in your relationship is going to be different. So what I mean by that is, like for me, okay, I'll just put me. One of the best things about a particular situation that I was in was the level of support that I got with my dream. I had dated someone, and I was purposely, when I was planning my first event, as a matter of fact, I was on the tail end of dealing with the narcissist that I dealt with, and I was purposely doing the show or planning that event around him to see his response, because I knew by the time that that event happened, he was either going to be in the front row or he was going to be out of my life. And he was out of my life by the time that event started. But I was dealing with another person, and I was able to see the direct contrast in what it is that I want in terms of support. Support doesn't necessarily mean you're in the show, it doesn't mean you're on the stage with me. And it may not mean that for other people. If you're dating someone who really has something that they want to do, it can look like you being the one to pick up dinner or take over some chores or take over some things in the household so that they can fully focus on things for that particular period of time. That's support. It can be just showing up and making sure you're doing behind the scenes stuff, not necessarily right there in the spotlight. Maybe behind the scenes, you're making sure everyone gets paid, or you're making sure everyone gets a receipt for a service, or is scheduled correctly, or gets a thank you email. For some of you, it could just be they want you to listen to them talk about their day so they can bounce ideas off of you. It just depends on what that person is letting you know is important to them, and your ability and willingness to do what they're asking. So it is very important, but don't always think that it's got to look the way you see it happening in other relationships. Ask that person what support looks like for them, and then fall in line with that.
Yes. Thank you, Allison, for that. Thank you all for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. This is our Love and Relationships Live
Yes.
Q&A. And we are actually doing this because we have a Love and Relationships Masterclass that's coming up March the 14th. And you all should definitely make sure you reserve your spot. We only have a limited amount of
Mm-hmm.
spots. It is going to be a virtual
Yes.
class, so you don't have to worry about getting dressed
Nope.
up. You don't have to worry about getting out, in the weather or anything like that. I don't have to worry about Allison having to find a flight and come to, because she's in Texas and I'm in Georgia. But next question. Can a relationship, oh, and thank you, Mark, for the question. Can a relationship that has true love be permanently disrupted by incompatibility in any area? Definitely. The reason that I say that love does not make a full relationship. It takes a lot more than love. Love can be the foundation, love can be the basis for the relationship, but love is definitely not all there has to be in order for the relationship to
Mm-hmm.
work. Um, to be disrupted by incompatibility. Can a relationship that has true love be permanently? Yes, it can be disrupted. And but I will say this, once it's disrupted, then you look at how much you love the person.
Mm-hmm.
Not only how much you love the person, but how much you love yourself. Because you have to really consider if the disruption is a if it's a make or break for you in the relationship. If that disruption is a break for you, then you really have to focus on the love that you have for yourself more than the love that you have for that person. Because like I said, just because it's love in the relationship doesn't necessarily mean that the love is a healthy type of love. I've been in a relationship where there was lots of love
Mm-hmm.
there, but there was nothing healthy about that relationship at
Mm-hmm.
all. And simply because love was there, some people use, I'll put it like this, some people use love as a basis for staying in an unhealthy relationship that they should not
Yeah.
be in. And you don't want to
Mm-mm.
do that. So I'm just going to stop there because I know Allison has something that she wants to say.
So
Allison.
thank you again, Mark, for your question, and thank you guys who have tuned in. We thank you so much. We are doing a live Q&A, so if you have any relationship questions, either for you or for someone that you know, please feel free to go ahead and put them in the comment section. We are answering them live, as many as we can. We're answering them live tonight. And keep in mind, if you're single, it doesn't mean that you can't ask a question. Ask us a dating question, whatever it is you want to do. So thank you, Mark, for your question.
Right.
Now, I have a similar, but I'm going to go off on a tangent with the answer to that question. My biggest thing is when we start talking about incompatibility, the first thing that you want to ask yourself is this truly a situation of incompatibility or is it stubbornness? So here's what I mean by that. We all know that because of the internet and different social media apps, you are now, able to meet different people all over the world. Now, let's just say that maybe
Mm-hmm.
you've done some FaceTiming and some Skyping and some texting and phone calls with someone that you really, really feel yourself falling for, but they're in a country where they can't get out. That could be a situation of incompatibility. In that situation, you want someone who is right there. You're at a point where you want someone to see and to touch and to hold and all of that other stuff, and they're not going to be able to do that in any feasible, reasonable amount of time. So in that instance, yes, permanent incompatibility is a situation. But let's go to another topic. Let's go to the other side. Let's say you've had bad situations with relationships up close, or maybe you had a bad situation with a long distance relationship. So let's say now you've met someone after making a decision that because that relationship was bad, you now no longer want to do long distance relationships at all. So let's say you meet someone
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe 5 or 6 hours away or 3 or 4 hours away. In either case, it's within flying distance. It's still not ideal as you would prefer to have someone nearby, but they're not across the water with an inability to get here. Okay, so you're compatible, you get along with each other, all of these other things. Now, let's say that that person is still saying, or no, let's just say it's you. Let's just keep it on your side. Let's say that you really like that person, but because of the last relationship you were in, you have made a non negotiable in the fact that they are not, I don't know, 5 minutes up the street. Okay. You have to now stop and ask yourself, am I being fair to this interaction? Or am I basing this interaction off of my past experience that has nothing to do with this person? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people who just decide long distance is not for me. I'm not talking about you. That's not a judgment call. What I'm saying is sometimes you have to go back and figure out why you have some of the non-negotiables that you do. And if they stem from fear, if they stem from a past history, if they stem from a past behavior, you are potentially calling something incompatible when in actuality, you're being stubborn. There's a difference. Let's just still stay on distance. Let's say you've met someone and you guys really want to be together, but you have a child who's in high school and you don't want to uproot them, and they have a child who's in high school and they don't want to uproot them. Y'all can make it work until both kids have graduated. Are you willing? That's not an
Mm-hmm.
incompatibility issue. That's going to be more of patience and understanding, which need to be in any relationship, whether it's local or not. So I don't necessarily think that what we call incompatible is actually incompatible. I think sometimes it's just that we want what we want, and we want everything to fit into that situation according to what we want. Not wrong, but you have to understand that another element of relationship is compromise. We're good compromising on dinner, we're good compromising on who pays for what, but sometimes that compromise may include location. It may include you having to learn something about an illness when you're afraid of dealing with people who are sick. Compromise can get deep. So you want to ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
is this incompatible, or is there a chance that I or they are just being stubborn and one-sided?
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Allison, for that. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. Tate has a question. Can I come? Yes, you can definitely attend our master
Absolutely.
class. With attending the master class, we do have a single rate and we have a couples rate, a couples ticket. With the singles ticket, it's $42. And with that, you get a free copy of my ebook, which will be available because I'm adding two to my collection. Yay, go me,
Go
go
you, go
me.
you.
You will also get a complimentary relationship chakra consultation with myself for you and your mate. And then Allison is going to have a wonderful freebie for you all
Yes.
too. And for the couples rate is $80 for both of you to attend. And then I'll comment the link below. So the singles link and the couples link, if you all are interested in registering for that. We do have limited spaces, so I'm gonna tell y'all that up front. Tate, I have had 20 Valentines with my wife. Do you ladies have any 2K ideas on what I should get or do for V Day? Get her or do for V Day.
Cool.
You know what? This time of year, we are, a lot of people are focused on vision boards and manifesting things and working on goals for the new year. What I think you all should do is do like a couples vision
Mhm.
board or get together and decide what you all want to focus on for the new year or what you all want to manifest together for the new year. If you both are business owners, then you can also do this for your business. Get together and say, hey, well, you could say for my business, I want to do this. And your wife, she could say for her business, she wants to do that. Make the vision boards together and then decide how you all can support each other. And something like that is different. It's not the typical flowers and candy and big balloons and teddy bears and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but being able to support your mate's business or just be supportive in general is a very, very, I know for me it would be a very impressive
Yes.
way to show that you love me and that you support me and that you support my
Yes.
ideas and everything that I want to do. But another gift would be to sign up for the masterclass.
You better plug your workshop. That's what I'm talking about. You
Yes.
better plug it.
Sign up for that masterclass. Yes, you both will enjoy
Yes.
it. You know, I mean, it's for so long we do the flowers and candy and cars and stuff like that, but we really need to focus on doing things that are going to strengthen the relationship. Don't give me no flowers and candy if I'm going to be mad at you the next
Okay.
day. No, we need to work on this relationship, especially if we plan on being together past Valentine's
Right.
Day.
Right.
Allison, do you have any ideas for
I do.
him?
And first, what I want to say, well, I'll say two quick things. Thank you to those of you who have tuned in. I see my cousin Jazz has tuned in. Thank you guys so much. We are doing a live Q&A. Myself, my sister Ruby, you are tuned in to Soul Sunday. We are talking about love and relationships, and we are taking relationship and relationship related questions live. We are answering as many as we can until the host of this show, which is not me, says we're done. So
Yes.
please feel free to ask those questions now. Tate, the first thing that I want to say to you is I want to salute you on behalf of all people who understand that Valentine's Day may be some kind of a made up holiday, but are not sucking the joy out of participating in it. I want to go ahead and
Right.
put that out there. We know that a lot of holidays are over commercialized or sensationalized. We get that. But to be honest, some of y'all will kill the love out of anything. So I just want to salute Kate for just saying, I love my woman. I don't give a flip about what people think about this holiday. I just still want to participate because I love her. And I hope that that is a seed that is planted throughout this live cast tonight. So having said that, what I would do, Tate, and this is only because of the fact that I know you and your wife, but one of the suggestions that I would have is y'all are about to enter another stage. Y'all are about to enter another stage, and this is piggybacking off of what Ruby said. You have, one baby girl who is about to graduate and not necessarily leave the nest, but start a new part of her life. And, I know your son is not too far behind. And so my suggestion in going along with what Ruby said is to just start writing. I don't call it a bucket list. I think that's just disgusting. But why don't y'all start putting a board together? You may have a vision board, like Ruby said, about different business ventures and things that you guys have planned. But why not create a board that you guys and create it together? Create it on Valentine's Day. Be creative and put a board together where y'all can each individually go buy that board each day and write down something you like to do. Maybe caption it. Once the kids have graduated, I'd like us to blah blah blah. And then as you have these thoughts,
Right.
just write down something that you would really like to do together. Now that you'll have that empty nest, what is something that you like to do? And the reason that I say to do it together on Valentine's Day is because it would be togetherness, it would be planning, it would be a continued showing of appreciation that says, I'm not even gonna read your post, Tate. I'm not reading it. I ain't doing it anyway. It would give you an opportunity to look at that board each day, maybe each month, each year, and you can start picking things off. Okay, well, we both said we want to do that. Let's go ahead and start putting money to the side so we can do that the first year that the kids are gone, and then the second year that the kids are gone. I think it would be really, really fun. So that would be my suggestion. Now I'm going to read your comment.
You can still take her because women still like to
Hey,
eat.
I'm team yeast rolls, so do your
Right.
thing.
We still like
Do
to
the
eat.
do the yeast rolls. I'm not mad at you.
Still take her. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. And this is our live Q&A about love and relationships. Even if you have questions about sex,
Yes.
you can ask us the questions. We will answer them
Yes, we
for
will.
you. But the reason that we wanted to do this live, of course, Allison and I have been doing Soul Sunday well
Yep.
over a year. And we have talked about everything, and we still find everything to
I
talk about. And we're going to
do.
continue to talk about
Everything.
everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And please feel free to share the
Yes.
video.
Share
Share
the
the video.
video.
But, of course, with this month being the month of love and all of that good stuff, is also Black History
Mm-hmm.
Month, you know. But for us, it's always Black History Year.
Yes.
But I'm just
Yes.
saying,
Yes.
putting it out
Mm-hmm.
there. But it is a month of love, and I think that we should take the time to really start doing relationships the right way. Like, for our masterclass, if you look at the flyer, I was like, we've been doing relationshiping wrong for too long. And it's time for us to stop just simply having the conversations just for the sake of having the
Yeah.
conversations, so we can just come together and eat and drink and continue to have the conversations without ever really doing anything or putting anything into
Right.
play. So one thing with this masterclass that I really wanted to focus on was putting into place some, or sharing with you all some information that for one, you don't normally get to hear when you go to these events where they talk about love and relationships. And I'm tired of the whole back and forth, the whole blame game between men
Me
and
too.
women. And it's just like, okay, we understand there's a
Yes.
disconnect, we understand there's a
Yes.
problem, but us continuing to talk about the problem is not gonna make, it's not a
Yes.
solution, put it like that.
Yes.
So one thing with this masterclass that we will be touching on is the fact that both men and women have to be held accountable in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. I mean, whether it has nothing to do with whether you feel like you're right, you're wrong, she's right, he's wrong, whatever the case is. because there are two people in that relationship, the responsibility of making that relationship last is based on the both of you.
That's right.
I don't care if she cheated. I don't care if he cheated. I don't care if she ate up all the snacks from all the kids' snacks. I don't care if he ate up all the chips. It don't
Yeah.
matter. If you know he was greedy, you shouldn't have put the chips where he could see
Right.
them.
Right.
He wrong for eating them, and you wrong for putting them where he could see them. I'm just saying. I'm just using that as
Right.
an example. As an example, that's it. But when it comes to having a successful relationship, it's accountability on both
Right.
sides. I do remember, out of all the Facebook Soul Sunday lives that me and Allison have done, we also had we did a show where we talked about relationship problems and personal problems. At some point, I will put the link down below for that particular live after I go find it. But another thing, and then after this, I'm gonna let Allison talk. But people like to say, well, I have these problems in my relationship and we're not working them out, this and that, blah 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 blah, whatever. You have to understand that if you were having this issue before you got into that relationship, that ain't no relationship problem, that is a personal problem. And I think there's a
Mhm.
disconnect with identifying what your personal problem is compared to what a relationship problem
Right.
is. Trust shouldn't be an issue in your relationship, or it shouldn't be a relationship problem, especially if you had a problem trusting people before y'all got
Yes.
together. That's a personal problem that you brought into that
Right.
relationship. So, we might talk a little bit about
Hmm.
that. We might talk a little bit about that. Allison, I'm going to go ahead and let you
You
talk because I know you got some good stuff
you
over
know
there.
what is so funny? We keep talking about how awesome this connection is between Ruby and I, because for those who don't know, we have been doing Soul Sunday, like she said, for over a year, but it was this past November before we actually met in person. We had never met in person, and it continues to
Mm-hmm.
amaze me how that connection keeps being confirmed, because I was gonna put up a post earlier. I got sidetracked. I never did it. I may do it later this week, but I put up a post after doing a few minutes of scrolling tonight, and the post was gonna say something to the effect of, men and women are so busy pointing the finger that they're not even taking the time to understand that they're both right. And so when you
Mm-hmm.
made that comment about us always, we know that there's a disconnect, I was like, wow, here we go with that connection again. So, but the thing is, it's very true. We understand, like Ruby said, we know that there is a disconnect between men and women. We know that there is a different thought process between men and women. We know that women come to a conclusion differently than men do. We know that we think differently, we act different. We know all this. But I think what has happened is that we
Mm-hmm.
are so focused on trying to prove our points that no one is sitting back and understand that you're proving your point and you're alone. And you can say that you don't care that you're alone, but you do. The people who don't care about being alone, the people who are not dating. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the only people who don't care about being alone. The people who are very content, who don't want to have a relationship, who don't want any of those things, some who don't even want sex, they're not out here still diluting the pool of dating with a bunch of nonsense. So stop lying and saying that you don't want somebody, because you do. Also, stop lying about what you want from them. If you just want to get laid, find other people who just want to get laid. It's not hard. There's no judgment. The problem comes in when you don't like the pool of people that think the way you think. You don't want to sleep with people who just want to get laid because, well, she probably sleeping with everybody. Her body count probably higher than mine. Well, why do you care? You don't want a relationship. So deal with the dirt in your pool and leave the other pool alone, or change it up so that you can qualify for that pool. This isn't hard. We make it hard. That's my point. So
Yes.
when we're talking about accountability, going off of what Ruby said, my objective and my goal, and I have a couple of people who are up here tonight who are actual clients. They don't have to say anything if they don't want to, but one of the things that I try to do is get them to see not just their side, but I get them to understand the side of their mate as well. I notoriously go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because relationship involves at least two people. A romantic relationship should be involving two people. And sometimes we can get so focused on our perception and what we think things are, that we think that the other person with us is supposed to line up to our thoughts, and the reality is that they don't. Even if what you're saying is right, they still have the right to not agree. The problem comes in when you either want to
Mm-hmm.
push your opinion on that person, or when you want to force a relationship that keeps telling you it needs to be disconnected. That is where we start having those issues. And so, yes, brothers can say, well, there's a bunch of good men out here, you just don't know how to keep one. Okay, fine. Now that you've made a woman who's already lonely feel worse, can we start talking about some of the things that she might be able to do? Okay, my sisters can say, oh, there's no good men out here, all men ain't this and all men ain't that. Okay, fine. Now that you have potentially offended a man who really wanted to try to get to know you, can you sit down and start talking to them about the fact that this is why I feel the way that I do? And can both sides be willing to listen to that information without filtering it through their
Mm-hmm.
experience, and start taking the time to learn from the perspective of the other person? We all know that there are people who claim they want a good man and all they want is a paycheck. Okay, fine, but not all women are like that. We know that there are men out here who lie. Okay, fine. They're not all like that. 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 I just want to keep saying that for my sisters, because not all men are the same. I know it may
Not
feel
at
like
all.
it. I know you keep meeting 10, 20, 30 of them who keep doing the same thing, but until you have met everyone in the country and the world, they're not all like that. I personally know some really good men, and no, they're not all married, and no, they're not all gay, and no, they're not all in jail. They are really good men. So can we get beyond the excuses that we've made for why we're alone? Can we stop making our excuses more comfortable than the arms that we really want around us? Can we do that? Can
Mm-hmm.
we do that? So that,
Can
can we
we?
just do that? And so that is what my purpose. That's what I talk about. And I think that this workshop, this masterclass, is going to be tremendous for those of you who really want to get out of the blame game and want to start taking that first
Mm-hmm.
step.
Exactly. Thank you all for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. And this is our, excuse me, love and relationships, love, sex, and relationships live Q&A. So definitely, if you have any questions, please ask them, and we'll be more than happy to answer
We
them
will.
for you. Don't ask anything you really don't want an answer to. I'm gonna tell you. I'm telling you now. But with our masterclass, another thing that I'm really gonna talk about in depth, well, as in depth as we decide to get, because we're not gonna give it to you all in this one masterclass, but we're gonna give you a
Yes.
lot. We're gonna give you a lot in this masterclass. But of course, with me being the thinker that I am and being into the chakras, I was laying in bed and I was like, we got a relationship chakra system, because anything that we put time and effort and energy into is an extension of
Yes.
us. And if we have a chakra system, then that relationship that we have is going to
Mm-hmm.
have one. It's just that now that chakra system just doesn't involve you, it involves you and your mate. There's a certain energy that exists between you and your mate. And that's where these energy disconnects happen, because there's an imbalance, because somewhere energetically you all are not connecting. And when you're not connecting, it's gonna eventually manifest into something mental, emotional, and
Mm-hmm.
physical. And then when people say, oh, we grew apart, y'all didn't grow apart, y'all just disconnected and never
That's right.
reconnected. We have to start looking at these relationships like they should be
Mm-hmm.
looked at, and stop making, saying, oh, we just grew apart. No, he wasn't feeling you no more and you wasn't feeling him no
Yep.
more. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happened. But of course, with the relationship chakra system, you have a root chakra system. I'm only going to share one with you all. To get all seven, y'all got to enroll and register for the
I know
master
that's right.
class. But the first one, of course, is the root chakra. The relationship root chakra is associated with how the relationship was developed or established and its
Mm-hmm.
foundation. Oh, This is a very big one.
Yes.
And the reason I say it's a big one is because it goes back to what Allison was saying about um, you being ready and you being honest with what it is that you want. Because if you know all you want is a physical relationship, you have to, that's what you have to build that particular foundation on. That's what your
Yep.
foundation is. You can't get mad when you out here just having sex with this person, but then they go out and decide to have sex with somebody else, but at some point decide to be in a relationship with somebody else after you told them this is all I
Yes.
want. You can't get mad at that. But the reason that's happening is because your relationship root chakra is underactive,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have that clear understanding of what type of foundation it is that you want. And in situations where relationships start, where the man is already in a relationship or they have not completely disconnected from their previous relationship. And the same thing for women. A lot of us get into a relationship and the foundation is you still attached. We talked about attachments and connections before. You are still attached to whatever remnants remain from that last breakup you
Mm-hmm.
had. How do you how do you expect to build on something like that? You can't. And if you do, then you are going to have problems throughout the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. You are. So you have to understand that with the relationship chakra system, you have to have a firm foundation, whatever that foundation
Yep.
is. If it's rooted in you being happy single and you want to date, make sure that you strong in that. You got to be real strong in that. You can't be out here catching feelings and you decided you just want to be single and want to, have sex with
Right.
people.
Right.
Or if you know that you truly and honestly want a serious relationship with everything that comes with that, are you even everything that you're asking for? Are you all of those things to yourself before you expect somebody else to be those things to you? If you can't give that to yourself, then your individual foundation in that relationship is shaky already. And if you get a man that's really going to give you that, are you even prepared to receive that?
Hmm.
No.
Good question.
I'm, I'm gonna go ahead and let you
You
chant.
know,
Wait, you don't wait. Journey, he
yes.
says you don't grow apart. You stop willing to
Yeah,
learn.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
that
Mm-hmm.
part.
I'm just going,
And it's just
oh,
like,
wow.
oh,
You
go
sure?
ahead, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna flip what Ruby was talking about. I'm just gonna go in the reverse, the same way that she talked about. Um, if you're out here, you need to, if you're just wanting a sexual relationship, you need to, own that and build a relationship on that. And you also can't be upset if that person decides to go off and date somebody else. Well, let's go ahead and flip that as well. You also have to be willing to let someone go who is making it clear either through words or actions that they do want more. You have to be willing to
Mm-hmm.
say, anyone who walks around with the mindset of, well, I told him or her what it was in the beginning, is selfish. The reality is that people evolve. The reality is also that there are times that people may find more in you than they thought they would, and they have become really fond of it and they do want more. It's not their fault for messing up the program. They have seen something in you, you've
Mm-hmm.
touched something in them that has made them think, man, I know what I said, but I really do like her. I really do like him. I know what the agreement was, but I really do like him. If they come to you and start telling you that, if they start, and when I say telling, I don't mean by words, actions. When somebody is into you and you're not into them that way. You know how it feels. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
willing to also be strong enough to say, even though I enjoy his or her company, even though the sex is amazing, even though I have a good time, I know I don't want what they want. I'm going to have to leave them alone. Totally. No phone calls, no checking up, no let's be friends. You got to be willing to do that. That's just an example. And so it's important that we start looking at relationships in totality. Just like Ruby mentioned, you say you want a good person. Are you prepared for them? You can't possibly be prepared for them if you're also saying that there are no good people left. You're not ready. Because the thing is, if you really believe that there are no good people left, you're not preparing for anything, because in your mind, you'd be preparing for something that'll never come, right? So when someone does
Mm-hmm.
come who is the complete opposite of what you felt all people were, no, you're not ready for them. Now you have two decisions. You can get ready and you can ask for patience while you get ready, or you can just fall off. But what we have to stop doing is the in between painkiller dating. Let me give you something really that you know, but you don't know. Are you aware that if you were listening to what I'm saying, if you were listening to what Ruby is saying, and you have been through a relationship that almost destroyed you, are you aware that you're not dead? Are you aware that it didn't kill you? The reason I want to bring that up is because we've got to stop defensive dating. If y'all drove the way you dated,
Mm-hmm.
we'd have a lot less accidents on the road. Y'all block everything. If y'all drove the way you try to date out here right now, there'd be no accidents. There'd be no need for tow truck drivers. There'd be no need for tickets. No need. We got to stop this defensive dating. Well, I want to, but I don't want to get hurt. Well, I want to, but I don't want to get used. Well, I want to, but let me tell you something. Nothing you've been through has killed you. You may have been bitter. You may have been jaded.
Mm-hmm.
You may have been hurt. You may have been angry, but you're not
Right.
dead. Get back in the ring. That's all that we want to, talk about. We want to show you how to get back in the ring, either with the person that you're with or to just get back in the dating scene again. Believe me, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy to get over somebody that you love. I've done it. I know what it is that you're feeling. But I also know that if I want what I say that I want, I've got to walk in with, and as Tate would say when we're talking about things like this, I got to walk in with a clean slate. I got to let their screw ups be the only screw ups I pay attention to. Not how their screw ups connect to Joe's screw ups and John's screw ups, but how their screw ups are affecting me. It's time to do that. It's time to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't date people who are separated. I got one dude right now mad as hell at me because I won't date him. But I don't date people who are separated because you are in between marriage and singleness. Nobody's responsible.
That underactive relationship root chakra.
Nobody is responsible for protecting my heart but me until I decide to give it to
Right.
someone else. It is okay that you are in a situation where the marriage isn't working out and you might be getting a divorce and everything, but I can't put my certain love into a temporary, unsure situation. We could
Mm-hmm.
kill a lot of the hurt that we endure if we just make the decision to say, I'd rather be patient and see where this is going before I jump head first. That's just something else that you can do based
Yeah.
off of that chakra. You're saying, okay, I think you're cool. I like you a lot, blah, blah, blah. There's been one gentleman, I said the same thing to him. He's good. This dude, all in his feelings. You're going to stay in your feelings. I saw you come off. You're going to stay in your feelings because I'm not putting my heart in a situation like that. And that is how you prevent hurt. That is how this is where the root chakra comes in. This is where you are firm and you're able to say, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how lonely it gets. I don't care how mad I get. I don't care how frustrated I get. I don't care how much I wish I had something to do on Valentine's Day or my birthday or Mother's Day or whatever. I'm standing firm and I know that what I want is reasonable. And I know that what I want can
Mm-hmm.
happen because I see it. So I'm going to keep it before me. That is where that root chakra comes in. You get your foundation nailed on that, you'll start going through a lot of situations a lot quicker. And your heart stays in your chest, not their hands. I'm done.
Yes. Thank you, Allison, for that. Bravo, bravo. And thank you all for tuning in to Soul Sunday with Ruby and Allison. This is our Love, Sex, and Relationships live
Yes.
Q&A. So definitely if you have any questions, we got a few minutes left. We got a few minutes left if you want to get your question in. Yes, the gentleman does have to be grown enough to respect your choice. And since you say that, oh, real quick, let me plug our Love and Relationships Masterclass, which will be March the 14th at 7 p.m. It is a live virtual class via a private group. and it's for singles, it's for couples. But Allison and I will be having a much more in-depth conversation about how we start building stronger relationships so we can be relationshiping
Mm-hmm.
correctly. But and then once we finish this live, I'll put the links below so you can check out the you can register for the
Mm-hmm.
masterclass. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for sharing the video. But real quick, for those that are getting on late, I am Ruby D, the Goddess Entrepreneur, Soul Speaker, your energy therapist, and I am an author. And what I do specifically when it comes to relationships is I am an energy therapist, and I focus on the energy body of the relationship between you and your mate. When there are energy disconnects that occur, you have to, for one, be connected to the point where you can realize that the disconnect
Mm-hmm.
exists in order to go ahead and fix it. Because usually, before there's a physical separation, there's some energetic separation that occurs. And if you don't take the time to address that as soon as you feel it, then you're basically just going to give it time to build itself up. And it becomes more powerful and it becomes harder to repair that disconnect. And by the time you all realize that you've disconnected, you are basically just like, no, she can go her way and I'm going to go mine. So that's pretty much what I do. I focus on the, like I said, the energy disconnects in the relationship. And because I work with the chakras, then I also work specifically with the sacral chakra, the intimate, the sensual relationship between men and women, and also that one that you have with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So I also focus on sacred energy exchanges, clearing that energy
Mm-hmm.
out, and building that between you and your partner. And Allison, go ahead and let everybody know again what it is that you
Well,
do.
peace and blessings again, Doc. We do appreciate you tuning in. Steve, I see your comments. So you can catch this on the replay. I know you said you wish you had, I saw a comment where you said you wish you had caught this from the
Mhm.
beginning. Catch us on the replay as soon as we finish the broadcast. And yes, we got a dunce cap that will fit your head. I promise. Anyway, I am a relationship coach, and what I do, as I talked about at the top of the hour, Ruby, she's got you in terms of the energetic connection. I'm going to get you with the emotional and the practical connection. So she's going to show you how to energetically prepare and energetically connect first with yourself, and then I'm going to take it a step further and start talking to you about what are some practical things that you need to start doing and stop doing and continue doing. What are some things that you need to be honest about on your own? Are you spending too much time focusing on all the people that have done you wrong? Are you not paying attention to the fact that maybe in the course of you dealing with toxic people, you've become lazy? That's something that we don't talk about. So what I do is talk about how to have a better relationship with you, how to have a better relationship with other people, and how to stop looking through the eyes of only your experiences so that you can start looking at everything in the totality of the situation that you're in. And so I do this whether you're in a relationship, fresh out of one, ready to date again, afraid to date again, whatever part of the spectrum you're on, from
Mhm.
single to married, I got you. So that's what I do.
Right. This masterclass is for men and women. Trust me, me and Allison, we are not
Mm-mm.
one-sided. Look, men and women need to be
Yeah.
held accountable, so you don't have to worry about this being a male bashing session. That's not what
Yep.
we do. That's not.
Mm-mm. I
No,
got mad.
you can't
I got
build
women
on
mad
that.
at me too.
It's absolutely
Yes.
okay. But like I said, the masterclass is March the 14th. So Allison and I will continue to do these live Q&As up
Mm-hmm.
until then, because we want you all to become more familiar with us in this
Yes.
area. And we want to be able to answer those questions so that you all know that we legit, that we ain't out here just reciting the same
Right.
information that you can get from anybody
Right.
else. It ain't like that over here. And we thank you everybody that asked questions early on. We appreciate you for
Mm-hmm.
that. If you have questions that you did not get a chance to ask, it's okay. We will be back next
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, 8:30, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m.
Central. Mm-hmm.
Central Standard Time. with another session, so you can ask your question then, or if you like, you could just inbox either one of us, and then I know Allison, she takes questions in her inbox. I have no problem with taking them in mine. And some of the questions we may actually feature on the
Mm-hmm.
show next
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. But we don't want to hold y'all too long. It's been our
Yes.
pleasure to sit here and experience this with you all. I actually like
I
doing
enjoyed it
this.
too. Yep.
Yay!
You know I enjoyed it.
But right. You can find me online if you're interested in any of my services. I do energy services for individuals, for couples, for men and women. You can go to www.thegoddessgrind.com and click on book now to see a list of my
Mm-hmm.
services. There are other master classes that are going to be taking place next month, but the one that I'm doing with Allison is all on love and relationships. You can find me on Instagram at Rubi, RUBID, Artistry. And my Facebook business page is Ruby D. And that's me,
Thank you
Allison.
guys so much for tuning in. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me right here under Allison Denise. Don't forget my business page, Miss Allison Denise, aka the Petite Powerhouse. I'll be right there. Um, you can also find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter under Miss MS Allison Denise. Feel free to email me at allison@allisondenise.com. And also feel free to go to my website, allisondenise.com, to find out what I can do in terms of relationships, as well as speaking about relationships and an event that you may have going on in the future.
Well, yeah. Thank you all. Hey, Ricky. Thank you for the love. Thank you,
Thank you,
Stephen.
Ricky.
Realizing perceived precious relationship mistakes and fighting the fears of not repeating them. Yeah, growing
Yes.
pains of being in a relationship, growing
Yes.
pains. But we thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all next Sunday. Bye bye.